Unfinished Business television fans. Show your love for all things retro and movie magic by grabbing some awesome gear from 80sts.com. Your go-to spot for the best nostalgic t-shirts from your favorite movies, TV shows, and pop culture classics. Use promo code UBTV at checkout to save on your order and support Unfinished Business television. While you're at it, relive the classics or the memories. Shop now at 80sts.com with code UBTV.
A night out on the town.
I'll be home early, okay? Promise?
A heavy traffic jam.
I hate being late!
And one wrong turn.
What the hell was that? We saw a boy get murdered tonight, and if they catch us, they're gonna kill us too. I get a wife and a little girl, and I will get back to them tonight.
Let's show these punks what we got.
You better believe it.
Emilio Estevez, Cuba Gooding Jr., Denis Leary. Judgment Night.
You coming?
Starts Friday, October 15th at theaters everywhere.
Hey there, folks. Welcome back. We're here with another episode of Unfinished Business Television Deep Dive. I am your host, Jeff Galashaw of at Unfinished B2. And with me, as always, is Andre Joseph of AJ Epic Productions.
Attention food shoppers. We have a special over at the frozen food department. Dead meat.
If that was not a hint, that is rather obscure for some of you not born or born later than 1993, where our movie is set. We are talking about the Emilio Estevez classic, Judgement Night, directed by Stephen Hopkins and written, in the end, by Lewis Cowlick. Judgment Night is a bunch of suburban middle-aged friends go for a fight night in a RV, and they take a wrong turn into the urban neighborhood and witness or try to help a kid who got wounded, and then the kid ends up becoming the victim of criminals, and now we gotta wash our hands, gentlemen. So they are hunted through the streets by a white gang in what looks to be a minority neighborhood. Oh, excuse me, a white Irish gang. You know,
It's
this ain't
Chicago.
the Westies. So led by the scary presence of Denis Leary and his constant chain smoking, and a Peter Green as one of his minions. And for those of you who are into the hip hop, House of Pain's Everlast as his hitman. And our five suburban heroes are Emilio Estevez, Cuba Gooding Jr., Stephen Dorff as his little brother, and Jeremy Piven as their friend Ray, the salesman. This is pre-hair plugs, allegedly, Jeremy Piven. And the kid they pick up, played by a not so young Michael D. Lorenzo. And we also have Michael Wiseman as one of the gang, Christine Harnos as Emilio Estevez's wife, who has a newborn that he has to get back to. Andre, I have my own stories to tell about this film, but you picked this movie. What is your history, and why did you pick the legendary, to some of us, Judgment Night?
Well, I didn't see it in the theater when it came out in 93, but I saw the special on HBO when they used to show the behind the scenes, and I thought this is a really interesting concept of these guys going out to the fight, and then they get stuck in traffic, they take the wrong turn. And that was always on my mind for so many years, always worrying like I'm going to go to like a wrestling event or something, and then we take the wrong turn into the wrong neighborhood, some shit goes down like that. Like Breakdown with Kurt Russell, it's like that could really happen, especially if you're living in New Jersey. So I didn't see it till my parents rented it on video, and then I saw it. And let me tell you, it's a solid thriller, and I'm shocked it didn't do any better than it did at the time because I think there was a shooting in one of the movie theaters that he played
The Bronx.
in the Bronx, and then they kind of quietly started pulling this movie from the theaters because of that, because I guess it's the hood movie genre, except it's like mostly white guys here, not
Exactly.
Cuba Jr. being the lone exception.
The
But
gentrified hood movie.
right. And of course, Emilio I knew from Mighty Ducks and all the Brat Pack era flicks, so why not? This is a movie worth watching. And Emilio had a pretty big career in the early 90s, so it was something that was worthwhile to check out. I knew nothing about Stephen Dorff, and I definitely didn't know anything about Denis Leary until The Ref came out, and he was doing the same, stealing Bill Hicks' act, for the trailers, basically doing that here as well. So, it was just an interesting movie. And of course, Stephen Hopkins, I would find out later, same guy did Predator 2. So he has the same cinematographer, Alan Silvestri, doing a wonderful score, which is basically just beat for beat the Predator 2 score, the same like the tribal drums and stuff. But yeah, it was just one of those movies that caught on. And over the years, you look at the trivia of how this film came about. And apparently the original script was called Escape. It was written in the late 80s by Richard DeLillo, who wrote Bad Boys with Sean Penn. And this was brought to Lawrence Gordon, the producer of 48 Hours, Predator, Die Hard. And in the time that it was developed, it went through numerous writers, John Carpenter being one of them. And there were different versions of this where it wasn't going to be like in an urban neighborhood. They talked at one point about bikers in a desert outside LA. There was a rooftop motorcycle chase. So there were different ideas before they settled on what they had. And this guy, Lewis Colick, who wrote another movie we reviewed once, Domestic Disturbance, he would write the final script with another writer. And Larry Ferguson, who wrote The Presidio and wrote another movie that we did a deep dive on, or we're about to do a deep dive on, he also did some uncredited rewrites on this film as well. Now, Emilio was not the first choice for this movie. Nobody was writing this thing and saying, oh, yeah, you know who we need to get for the hero? We need Emilio. No.
Only me. I was like, yes.
No, originally, according to Stephen Hopkins, they wanted John Travolta, or he wanted John Travolta. But this was before Pulp Fiction. He was still on the dead end of Hollywood, where he was only getting Luco's talking movies. Nobody wanted to work with Saturday Night Fever himself with all the bombs he had. But had he done it, they also wanted the infamous Kevin Spacey to play the Denis Leary part, which...
no. Kevin Spacey can play a good villain, but not in this well, maybe if it was not even if it was a biker gang would I see him as the leader. And I'm like, come on, can you really see Kevin Spacey really like ordering around like Everlast and Peter Green in an urban setting? Like, hey, let's get those guys. All you do is nag. Almost killing one of his own gang by drowning. Do you think Kevin Spacey physically can get the drop on anybody, even Emilio Estevez?
No, because there'll be like this sexual undercurrent. Like he'd start trying to flirt with Emilio.
What is he gonna be like? Hey, you seen Saving Private Ryan? Is that what the sexual undercurrent? Do you like war movies? Like Peter Graves and Airplane with the little kid.
So anyway, they didn't get those guys. They considered Tom Cruise. I'm guessing for the Emilio. He's too expensive.
But my thing is, I feel like any movie we talk about on Deep Dive, you can say they consider Tom Cruise. Yeah, I consider Tom Cruise too, but I know we're not gonna get him. It's like you might as well said like when we did the Presidio for the Sean Connery role, they were considering Tom Cruise, but his price was too big. Yes, imagine that. It's like, stop it. Okay, we're gonna still mention it, but just assume in future deep dives they consider Tom Cruise for this.
Ray Liotta was on the list, but I don't know if it was for the Emilio part or for the Denis Leary part. Because he could have gone either way.
I just don't see Ray Liotta. No, John, let's not fight. It's like it would have to be the Cuba Gooding Jr. role or the villain. Those are the only two roles. Maybe Ray. That's the only other role I can see him playing in this movie.
Well, speaking of Cuba Gooding Jr., they wanted Samuel L. Jackson.
I'm like, what's with the two old crew?
I guess it's supposed to be like in their late 30s and 40s. They decided, let's go younger and get guys that are like at the cusp of 30.
I'm like, if that movie would have been made, I mean, it would have been a nice reunion for Samuel L. Jackson and Emilio Estevez from Loaded Weapon, but it would have looked like, what, was he a college professor he was still close with years later? Because there's a noticeable age difference, you know?
And Christian Slater, I think, was up for the Stephen Dorff part, I think.
Well, you know me. You can't go wrong with the Slater. So I'm like, if he would have been in it, I would have been like, no complaints. Because I'll be honest, if John Travolta would have starred in this movie, I don't think I'd be as big of a fan of the movie that I am. And because I will tell you, I saw it twice in theaters. I liked this movie so much. I saw it, I still remember, the King's Plaza Theater. Saw it twice, not in one day. I went once. I liked it so much. I went back. I really like this film, even though it kind of reminds you of Deliverance, you know, a movie I saw after this. You know,
and The Warriors.
I could see it, but I'd go more with Deliverance because Cuba Gooding Jr.'s character is supposed to be Burt Reynolds and he's the tough one and he gets injured at a certain point, and so everybody has to fend for themselves. Stephen Dorff gets the what I would call now the Four Brothers role, where all these other days, and then it's like, hey, who's that other guy? You know, who I remember from the sitcom What a Dummy. So I'm like, yes, I watch everything, everybody. I know everybody's past. I have Kevin Jarre wrote the first spec script, who wrote who I'm trying to remember what I remember he wrote Devil's Own and got fired off it because he was originally supposed to also direct that film.
He also wrote and was the original director of Tombstone and got fired on that.
I'm like, what is with this dude trying to direct? And they're like, no, we'll take your script, but no, you're not directing. He also wrote a original script for Rambo First Blood Part 2. It was no just to write dark scripts, you know, because originally this was much darker. And they actually put in like more humorous one-liners just to lighten the tone of the movie later. And people were shocked, I guess, a little that they found out that, no, this is how it was filmed. We didn't make the scenes darker. This is how the streets were lit. So I'm not even going to say guilty pleasure. This is a film I really enjoyed. I admit Emilio Estevez being the lead is a little weird, but my thing is, this is supposed to be about a suburban dad in the hood, you know? And I'm like, he fits the bill, you know? He got a higher paycheck than even he expected for this film because they were
$4 million. They're like, we're just desperate. Just take anything.
Exactly. So he asked for $4 million. They got it. He was even shocked. He's like, I didn't even get. It wasn't even this easy with Men at Work with my brother. I'm sure. I feel sorry for poor Emilio because I feel like they went to Charlie first. It was like, and Charlie could play any of the roles in this movie. So I'm like, but I really love this film. I admit it's silly in certain ways, but it's thoroughly entertaining. And one thing you said, like the Alan Silvestri does the score, and I feel like the only reason it sounds like Predator 2 is because I think 3 of his previous scores for the movie were rejected.
Yeah.
So he had no choice. Like, okay, let me just use some same shit, different notes. But another reason why this movie always stays in my mind, the soundtrack, by bringing together all these 90s rap and rock groups on all these tracks. Pearl Jam is on this. It's all over her teaming up with different bands on this. But I always that is why I can always remember this, because you had Fallen with De La Soul and Teenage Fan Club, which opens the film, which I think is a perfect montage of an opening. You have a group to this day I have never heard of, the Booyah Tribe. I'm like, You have them. The only time I've ever heard Booyah Tribe used is they played the villains in, or one of the people they go to in the Italian Job remake when they go to the Filipinos. That is Booyah Tribe.
Oh, jeez.
So that is the group that's singing Another Body Murdered. You have Sonic Youth with Cypress Hill and I Love You, Mary Jane, an ode to weed that I don't remember which scene it's played in because I don't remember any specific weed smoking scene unless it's the villains getting their guns. Um, this film kind of would be a good double feature with Trespass.
Yeah,
You know,
they could be the same universe.
exactly because it gives that same vibe. You expect D to show up in a cameo, like he could have played Kid instead of Michael D. Lorenzo, almost. You know, I like that. I like the. I don't even mind Denis Leary as the villain. You know, even though all he does is yap, but at least I believe him as a viable opponent for Emilio Estevez in the finale. You know, while Cuba and Stephen Dorff got to work on Everlast. You know, I like I said, I think this film could have had a bigger cult audience, but it was unjustly pulled, you know, and that's why it lasts. Because most people in the UK it wasn't even released in movie theaters, you know, so they know this is as a straight to home video movie. And come on, if people can get around Free Jack, people can get into this movie because at least this is somewhat plausible. Um, let's see what other trivia do I have.
When they did Jeremy Piven's death scene, there was an actual shooting on set, and an army had to be called in. Fortunately, no gang members were killed on the set.
Yes, but there was a kid murdered, and I'm just like, and not to mention, I know I at the time, since Jeremy Piven was, you know, more of a character actor, you kind of, even though his character is an asshole, you're still like a little saddened by his death. But knowing, I guess, how most people feel about Jeremy Piven now, it's like, oh, this is like a fan favorite part of the film, you know, considering he had a working phone, didn't use it. You know, and I always thought the woman who played one of the two women who they run to into their apartment was Erica Gimple, but it's not actually Erica Gimple. It's Angel Alvarado. So I misremembered that. And now, again, this is according to the ever reliable Jeremy Piven. Peter Green supposedly was fired before towards the end of production, and most of his scenes are done with like a body double and just being filmed from the back. So the late Peter Green, unfortunately.
Yeah, he probably had his problems then too.
I think he had it for like most of his career. Maybe not when he started out with like Laws of Gravity and Clean Shaven, but it seemed like more he got bigger profile. Maybe the intensity of his substance abuse and problems became more of a problem, you know, that even cast and crew were starting to notice. But like I said, to me, this is a viable all-star, you know, one of my favorite movies we're talking about on Deep Dive because I love this film. And friend to the show, Vashon Quinones, his podcast also actually interviewed Stephen Hopkins about this film specifically. So,
and we'd like to have Stephen on the show too. We have a lot we'd like to ask about.
yes, not only this film, but various projects. But also check out his podcast so you can see the episode that talks a little bit more in depth from, you know, the knowledgeable side. We're just giving our opinions. Here you can get the facts. So, but like I said, I really enjoyed this film. I'm not gonna say it's my favorite Emilio Estevez movie, but it's up there, you know.
I just got three other things to say. So
okay, specifically three.
Yeah. Well, there might be some of it. Adam Carolla was an extra on this. He was
like one of his first professional jobs.
Yeah, he was for Michael Wiseman. He was his stand-in,
and he was still like hating Don Lemon even then.
Yeah, pretty much. Also, you have this high-end RV to go to the fight. Why is there a Nintendo and not a Super Nintendo? This is 1993.
Hey, they're like, you get the luxury vehicle. You can upgrade yourself.
Maybe a Sega Genesis at least. That was affordable by then.
maybe Ray switched it out. He's like, wait, they ain't getting my good shit. Here, take the Nintendo.
Yeah, and Cuba Gooding Jr., by the way, the biggest overactor in this entire picture.
What? He reprised all those facial expressions. Hey, did he not do the same thing in As Good as It Gets?
Yeah, well, why they gave this motherfucker the Oscar and then he does Instinct and Ice, that Chill Factor.
Yeah, I was about to say Ice. What? I don't remember
I don't know.
Ice movies.
There's no ice here.
Well, I guess they were like, hey, Judgment Night, we could get Ice Cube. We could get Morris Chestnut. Nah, let's go with Cuba Gooding Jr. Hey, he cameoed in Stephen Hopkins' Blown Away, too. So I don't know what the direction.
That was so random when he was in that.
Oh, when he witnesses a shooter? It was like a stereotype almost. Like, are we in a Tyler Perry movie all of a sudden? And like when he's telling Emilio, like, we got to fight. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, are we in Cop and a Half? Like, Norman Golden could have given a better performance here than this. What's with this, all this huffing and puffing? And then, I don't know if you ever watched A Real World, The Challenge. There's like, for the first few years, there was this guy named Letary on the show, and he always used to talk tough, like, yeah, me and my boys, we gotta take over this town. And then he'd be like one of the first people eliminated. That was Emilio Estevez. I mean, that was Cuba Gooding Jr.'s character in this movie. He keeps talking tough. We see him flirting with single moms in the beginning, but then it's like, when it came down to it, you were the most useless guy on the thing, next to Jeremy Piven, you know?
That's funny. He's flirting with all the white women. He's not flirting with the two Hispanic women in the building.
That might be where Cuba's personal preferences might have bled into
You might be right.
So I was like, because again, even what's his name is the only married one, Emilio. I don't know what the hell. Is Stephen Dorff's character working or is he in college?
I think he's working. He doesn't look like he's in school.
And yeah, he looks. That's why I said it's like the Four Brothers scenario. You're like, they say a lot of stuff, but you're still not quite sure. What do you do other than be part of this friend group?
He's working at a hardware store.
And he's wearing the hoodie shirt combo to a fight, mind you. Also, none of them are dressed to go to a fight. Maybe Cuba. Maybe Cuba, because he got
Cuba is no, and maybe Piven. Piven's got like, he's got the jacket and
the salesman garb. But I'm just like, did he try to get John Cusack in this movie? And even John was like, no.
Yeah.
I'd be like, he could play the villain or the lead.
He played a villain today if he wanted to.
He'd actually have to want to work.
He played a child trafficker in a movie that went straight to video.
Well, he also played a serial killer in a Nicolas Cage movie that went straight to home video. So, but I mean, I think the last big screen performance John Cusack had was in Spike Lee's Chirac.
Yeah.
That's been how many years? And even when it comes to these kind of screenings of his films, it's always by video. He doesn't show up in person. And so,
yeah, you think he really cares?
It depends which film you're talking about. I'm sure if they did maybe a Rob Reiner screener for Stand By Me, I think maybe he'd care. Maybe for Say Anything. But notoriously, he just got around to liking Better Off Dead. So I'd more want to see him at an Identity screening, see what he has to say about making of that film. Like, yeah, working with Jake Busey. Yeah. Or I enjoyed working with Ray Liotta. Amanda P. Okay. Pruitt Taylor Vince. Cool. John McKinley. Did not know that was Hairpiece. I forget who else was in the movie. It's been a while since I saw that movie. So but might be a future deep dive. But yeah, for Judgment Night, the movie we're talking about, I don't care. I know it deserves 3 stars. This is a 4-star movie for me. I'm sorry. I love this film. And
it's a very good film.
I'm not going to call it a guilty pleasure because I don't feel guilty in my love of it. And like I said, definitely for all of you out there, music lovers, definitely pick up the soundtrack. As soon as I watched the movie, I started listening to the soundtrack again, and it brought me back to my high school days of listening to that album. One of the first CDs I owned. And so, yeah, maybe that's why I love this film. It strikes a nostalgic tone for me, but my thing is I don't want it to be remade. It could be, but by the
Yeah.
right, it would take a lot of like you'd have to put some kind of commentary a little bit more if you're gonna make it. But then that changes.
Speaking of that, I
Mm.
think that same year or the year after, there was not a remake, but there was an identical made for TV movie on the USA network, but they gender swapped it. So it's like Helen Shaver and two other actresses. And it's the same plot. Like they get lost in the middle of the ghetto and they're running from a gang. And one of the
Always,
gang, yeah.
always the ghetto. And like somebody need I got your next film, a comedy. A bunch of hood people get lost in suburbia and hunted down. It's
Starring Sally Field.
and I hope this wasn't an action film you planned on to be, because I don't think Sally Field can run.
Yeah, the movie was called Survive the Night, and it also has Stephanie Powers and Kathleen Robertson is also in this.
I'm surprised I didn't see it since Kathleen Robertson's in it. Because
Yeah, it
at
was on
that
the
time,
USA Network.
I was majorly crushing on Kathleen Robertson at that time. So I'm surprised I didn't see it. But yeah,
And they're running in the South Bronx.
doubled by Vancouver.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it's Canada.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't see them actually putting Helen Shaver and Kathleen Robertson in the actual South Bronx. I just feel like that feels like a white exploitation movie. They're like, oh, all these dangerous people in the South Bronx. Now you have gentrifiers wanting to move there.
And it has Lawrence Gilliard Jr. as the villain.
Hey, we all got to start somewhere, man. Hey, I think that was like right after Straight Out of Brooklyn. So that was his come up right there, or at
Yeah, you
least
gotta
a
get
good
some
pay.
bread, man.
Exactly. Maybe Adam Sandler saw this movie and was like, I need him to play Bobby Boucher's friend. So, hey, he was on The Wire eventually. So, hey, that man has a career. We would love to talk and interview you, Larry
Yeah.
Bernard, because you have done like everything and came up from, New York on the scene, and look at you now. Mm.
Yeah, have him come on since Larry B. Scott will answer us.
Larry B, what you doing to us, man? We know associates together. Why won't you talk to us?
Yeah.
And we're nice. Ask anybody. Ask the viewers who watch the show.
People
We're
love
nice.
you.
Why won't you come on the show? Wow, this went way off subject. I hope Larry B. Scott's watching Judgment Night review, even though he has nothing to do with this film. Hey, he could have played one of the denizens. He could have played the kid who got shot. He would have just
Someone
had.
just pay enough money to Emilio to do a commentary track.
I would love it. And if you really want to make it awkward, bring in Andrew McCarthy to sit in the room. So we can see him just be pissed, like, yeah, we shot this scene, motherfucker.
Yeah, be like, okay, 10 minutes to get the fuck out.
And no, you don't get to sit. You know. Or pay Charlie Sheen to do an audio commentary talking about his brother's performance in this film. Like, not a choice I would have made. And like, hey, Emilio, did you really like fight? Was that choreographed, or was that like improv fighting scene? And gotta use some of the Sheen magic there. Hey, did he have plugs in that scene? I've got some Peter Green stories myself, but I respect those who have passed. Hey, is that chick, Angel Alvarado? You still got her number?
Jesus.
Hey, she's pretty hot. A hot little tamale over there.
You still talk to Paul Abdul?
Bob Dole probably does not. No, he probably liked this movie.
Bob Dole, he's dead.
He liked it, though. He was alive when this film came out. And
Part of his presidential campaign, 96.
he was like, wait, Angel Alvarado? Bob Dole likes her. Yeah. And Christine Harnos, for some of you who don't know who she played Anthony Edwards' first wife on ER, and she was in the legendary Dazed and Confused. And so that is all the trivia I have for this film. And that is well, I guess if you want to talk about the soundtrack, Tool and Rage Against the Machine had a track that they both liked, but were unsatisfied with that did not make the soundtrack. But you can find it online if you really want to, or if you're devoted to those two, because it was kind of a slow, meditative, and then hard rock track that was 6 minutes. And I'm sure they were like, where the hell do we put this in the movie? This is an action thriller. So that is my last trivia of this film. Is there any last words you'd like to say about Judgment Night?
It's a good movie, and I really want Stephen Hopkins to come on the show. I know he follows me on Instagram. We'd love to talk to you about this and Nightmare on Elm Street 5, Predator 2, Ghost in the Darkness, Blown
Blown
Away. Like,
Away.
well, yeah, we'll talk about all that stuff.
So yes, I love this film. Not a guilty favorite. I would suggest this to fans, and of course, if you're like me, a big Emilio Estevez fan, I definitely recommend this because this might be one of his last great performances
Yeah.
on film. Where and hey, his highest payday. I guess maybe until Young Guns 3 finally gets
Let's see if
made.
it's still happening. I don't know.
I still have faith. I want Young Guns 3. I mean, everybody's going to be older and heavier, but I like the cast. And oh no, they killed Baltazar Getty. So I'm like, well, he won't be back. So that ends our Judgment Night. I really feel like this movie needs an exclamation point in the title, but that is sung in the song Judgment Night by Onyx and Biohazard. So one of my favorite tracks. So definitely go out and check this out. But that ends your time in the deep dive. So until next time, we bid you adieu.
If you like this review, please be sure to like and hit subscribe to be alerted to new episodes in the future.